Hello, Virgo. How are you? Great. It's fantastic. I'll do a reading for you for the month of March 2020. I've already shuffled several times off camera, but I am shuffling a few times on camera just so you can see that it's happening. So let's pull some cards, see what we got. Yeah, I got the death card on the bottom of the deck as well. So I feel like, if you can't see it, I know it's not exactly clear. It's the Two of Wands, Knight of Wands, or Two of Cups, excuse me. Two of Cups, Knight of Cups, Ten of Swords. And what I'm seeing is that you are moving away from a period of struggle and disappointment is coming to an end, basically. And you're moving away from that and moving towards a period of balance and possibly a relationship, a connection with somebody else. And it's funny because just a few minutes ago I wrapped up the Leo reading, and the Knight of Wands was the last card, I believe, that I pulled in the Leo reading. And in that reading, to me, it represented this transformation again and kind of the Phoenix energy. And I pointed out that, I'll just do it here too. I said that as a description of the energy the card was describing, and then also pointed out, it made me realize that it even kind of looks like there's fire coming off of him, like he's just been through a fire. And even his horse kind of looks like he's been through the flames as well. And so I feel like he's coming out of this, right? Which is like, yeah, you're definitely done after that. He's dead. The situation's dead. It's over. But from the ashes comes the Knight of Wands. And the direction that he's moving in is towards this, which even has, this kind of reminds me of a bit of the Phoenix energy as well. And so this kind of harsh and unforgiving, disappointing situation is over or nearing its end for you. And the way that the situation transforms itself is going to be very, very pleasing to you. There's nothing about it that's showing here to be letting you down. So now we've got the Four of Pentacles, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Ace of Swords. So, give me just 1 second. I want to kind of take this in for a second. I think that there's been a period of financial constraint for you, right? And you've kind of had to save your pennies here and there. Maybe cut away some of the excess of your life as you'd like it to be, and make do with what you had. But I feel like that is coming to an end. I'm sure that relates well to the Ten of Swords energy in the row above this that I pulled, the first set of cards. And it's coming to an end And it's by your own effort that it's coming to an end. And the fruits of the effort that you've made are going to be very pleasing. Again, it's like this. To me, it's reading out with a lot of the same energy of this first line of cards, where it's transforming into a much better, much more satisfactory situation. And it's going to be a fresh start. Where this is the Ten of Swords up here is, the situation as we described, over and done. The Ace of Swords is saying, that's the end. Here's the new start again. It's showing up a second time for you to just affirm that, like, what is over and what was unsatisfying is over, and it's transforming. Again. So we got here in this final line that we're going to do, this will be the last one, got the Five of Cups, the Knight of Swords, and the Four of Wands. Which, Four of Wands in this last position kind of seems like an outcome here, right? And it's kind of an outcome card in general, where it's the finish line of some saga or some journey, where you're coming home and it's a celebratory kind of energy, and people are happy to see you, you're happy to see them. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself though, because let's start at the Five of Cups, or let's go back to the Five of Cups. Again, it's this feeling of lack, disappointment, you recognize a loss, and it's profound enough that it's hard for you to even turn away from. It has dimmed your appreciation of what you have, because it could be a number of things. Maybe you feel like you don't have enough now, but you're cutting that out. You're cutting that energy out. Is what this Knight of Swords, is telling me. The Knight of Swords, to me, he doesn't have time for the bullshit and sentimentality, which is not to try to diminish the feeling of loss here. Because I'm sure, based on what I'm seeing here, that whatever you've lost or whatever disappointment you've suffered is valid and real. Like, it's not entirely imaginary. And it's not Nine of Swords energy, right? Where it's mostly mental, in your head, feeling of loss or anxiety over the potential of loss or something that hasn't happened, won't happen. But it's a valid feeling of loss and disappointment. And the Knight of Swords just doesn't. He recognizes that has to end, right? It's getting to that point where I can't let this hold me back anymore. I can't let this feeling of disappointment keep me tied to the past, keep me tied down anymore. So I'm cutting it out. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to bite down and do it. And that is the exact thing that leads to... That's also what I feel like the Ace of Swords is doing when I see it a lot of times. And it makes perfect sense in that context for this whole reading, where the Ace of Swords just cuts through bullshit. It doesn't have time for the bullshit. It cuts through it and it gets right down to the truth of a situation. And then the truth of the situation, living through the truth of the situation, rather than the feeling evoked by this disappointing, this disappointment of the past. leads to the Four of Wands energy, which is one of the better outcome cards that you're going to see, right? And maybe it kind of ties in with this Two of Cups too, if this is a relationship kind of thing. Because often this is a wedding card. People say it's the 11-11 twin flame cards. I don't go in hard on twin flame stuff. I'm not saying that it's not true, but to me it is... to me it's something that can throw you off balance. It's something that could throw me off balance if I were just to sit around thinking about twin flame stuff all the time. And I think that it does that to other people, where they just get ideas in their head about twin flames that aren't necessarily helping them. And if you have some kind of deep spiritual connection with somebody, you don't need to even label it. Label it if you want. Call it twin flame, whatever. I don't give a shit about that at all. But this card, to a lot of people, symbolizes exactly that sort of deep spiritual connection, is the point that I'm getting away from. And it's cool in the context of the Two of Cups up here, which also is kind of that, and the Four of Wands closing it out. And to me, it's a really good sign of this period of, maybe you've gone through a period of isolation, loneliness and disappointment and lack, and you're transforming this situation into one of relationship and excitement and celebration and contentment and healthy connection. And it doesn't get a lot better than that. And I'm going to stop right there because that seems pretty good to me. If you like the video, please like, share, subscribe, and I'm going to put some information, if you wanted a personal reading, about how you might be able to do that in the description box so you can get a hold of me. I hope this resonated with you, and I hope it's a good month for you. Take care, Virgo.